Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. Joel Embiid makes Sixers history, dropping 70 points in a win against Wemby and the Spurs. Embiid continues to put up numbers well surpassing last year's MVP season. Will he play enough games to repeat? The Sixers now have won 6 straight games. Is the team good enough to stand pat at the deadline, or will Darryl still make some moves? The Eagles begin their offseason overhaul, announcing the dismissals of Brian Johnson, Sean Desai, and Matt Patricia. Nick Sirianni stays on as head coach, but what exactly will he be doing? Vic Fangio has parted ways with the Dolphins and is the heavy favorite to take over as the Eagles' defensive coordinator. A long list of names have been proposed for OC, including Jared Johnson and Cliff Kingsbury. Who's the best to take the Eagles' struggling offense to a new level? The Flyers find themselves in a state of turmoil, having lost their 3 straight games. Owen Tippett has been placed on the IR with a lower body injury. Carter Hart has taken a leave of absence and appears likely to be implicated in the looming Team Canada scandal. Where does the orange and black go from here? Rhys Hoskins has officially played his final game as a Philly. The longtime first baseman has signed a 2-year deal with the Milwaukee Brewers. All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. Nice little Wednesday here, a little foggy Wednesday, but not bad. Week's going pretty decently. Had a little chicken tikka masala tonight for dinner. Got my belly a little rumbling here before the pod, but we're back on track.
Had some chicken tinga tacos.
Hell yeah!
Made a big batch of that last night. I'm gonna be probably eating that all week.
I made shrimp tacos on Monday.
Nice.
Pan seared them. They had a nice little crisp to them. Made some guac. We're talking. I used my food processor, man, because I didn't feel like dealing with dicing the onions into the tomatoes.
Yeah.
So I used the food processor to do that. Game changer.
Hell yeah.
Makes it so much easier, man. I never used it for that before.
You don't gotta cry and cut the onion and all that
it
shit.
Takes way less time. I was like, damn. I've had a food processor for years.
Yeah.
But I bought my sister one for Christmas, and I asked her what she used it on. Like, I went over there couple weeks ago, and asked her what she used it on. And she said she used it to dice all her produce.
Hell yeah.
So then I'm like, I should do that. It made making the tacos
so
much less.
Doing all that little chopping up.
It took way less time. I was blown away, but the tacos were banging.
Good to hear that we're all eating good in the neighborhood here.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Gotta eat good. Gotta eat healthy.
Big time.
Well, what's that they say? You are what you eat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so you gotta eat healthy. My goal in life's not to be rich or wealthy. Shout out Dead Prez, you know what I'm saying? But nah.
Hell yeah.
Things are good over here. I'm back from MagFest. I think probably day ones and OGs that know me know what MagFest is. Stands for the Music and Gaming Festival, if you will.
It's not like not MAGA Fest.
Yo, but I'll tell you what.
That's getting dangerously close to
it. Was in D.C. this year.
It's right outside D.C. and the hotel, the convention center it's at, is where CPAC has been in the past.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So in the Borat movie, you remember the Borat movie, right?
Right, yeah.
So they walk into that convention center, they walk into like the main room, and I'm like, damn, I played on that stage before. It was wild. But yeah, so got some stories, some interesting stories, right?
Hell yeah.
So first and foremost, talking about eating good, doing your thing. You know, your boy brought his crock pot down there.
Nice.
Brought 5 pounds of chicken.
Damn.
We're talking some barbecue sauce.
Did you put up in the room?
Hell yeah, I cooked
nice.
in the room. I made 5 pounds of pulled barbecue chicken.
Damn.
Brought some slaw. We were eating good, right?
Real good.
Yeah, so we had a party in our hotel room on Friday. And so we're chilling. This dude shows up. He's like, I got this danger juice. I'm like, danger juice? What the hell is that? So he explains it to me. Actually explained it to me Thursday, but I didn't eat it, drink it, whatever, till Friday. So danger juice is, right, it's this 160 proof liquor that has weed distilled in it.
What?
So like the THC content is super high because of the alcohol, right? So I do a swig of this danger juice Friday, and I was high for like 14 hours.
Holy shit.
It was wild.
Was it like a good high or was it like a paranoid high?
It was a good high. It was a good high.
Damn.
But it was wild.
And it was 160 proof too?
Yeah. So like...
Interesting.
What ended up happening, right, is I get really high. We're having this party in our room. and this dude shows up dressed as Santa, or he's like,
Oh,
here's
boy.
we're having a party. Dude shows up dressed as Santa with a big sack, right? So we let him in, like, okay, it's Santa. You're not going to, like, be disrespectful to Santa, right?
Suspiciously late in the year,
Right,
but we'll let it slide.
It
At least he still had a bag of gifts,
it
though.
gets more sus, though. So he shows up, right? And at first he's kind of cool or whatever. Then he starts, like, giving people gifts out of his sack. And most of the things that he had were butt plugs.
Oh, nice.
So, like, I'm sitting here, like, I can't comprehend what is going on because of the danger juice.
And no one knows this guy.
No one knows this guy. Some random guy just shows up dressed as Santa with a big bag just full of butt plugs.
He starts. Was he looking for CPAC?
This is the same normal crowd that usually likes this shit.
Yeah, I thought this was the CPAC after party.
He got kind of creepy and weird like a CPAC guy would have been. He started, like, my one guy friend Steve was sitting there on the bed just, like, mind his own business, just having a good time. This guy's, like, puts his hand up his leg almost to his crotch. Steve's like, hold on, man, I don't roll like that. Nah. So then this guy starts trying to hit on other people and trying to flirt with other people. Our one friend Paige, he, like, slaps her ass. We're like, no, you gotta go, dude.
What the fuck?
So, like, we tell him, like, to get a grip, this isn't that kind of party. And he leaves.
With his butt plugs, or did he leave the butt
well,
plugs?
we cleaned him out.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, there was like 20 people in
Were
the
you
room.
guys all plugging or no?
We were doing different things. Some people were wearing them on their fingers. Paige wore it on her head like a unicorn. She had a welt on her head, a hickey on her head for like 3 days from the butt plug. It was funny. But so then he tries to come back.
In
No.
the different
The same-
disguise or
no,
same disguise?
The same night.
He came back as the Easter Bunny this time.
No, the same night he tries to come back. We're just like, no. So I think he kind of got the picture till we seen him the next night. And he's like, hey, I'll come party. And we just kept it moving. We're like, nah, this guy is a weirdo.
Damn, was he in the Santa
Yes.
outfit the whole time? Like bad Santa then?
Yeah, he was the
But like a
worst Santa.
creepier bad Santa.
The worst Santa I have ever met. And I've met some pretty bad Santas.
That is hysterical.
So yeah, if you're ever wandering around at a hotel, do not let any random Santas in your room. They may come with butt plugs, but they may come with some suspect ideas and beliefs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, when it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Right.
As
Yeah.
the old saying goes.
Yeah, that Santa was on some other shit. But the other story I got, this was wild too. This one's not nearly as vulgar. This was pretty fun though. So it's Saturday night. The festival ends Sunday, right? And Saturday night rolls around, and it's party time, right? It's probably like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. We're all hanging out, having a good time, doing our thing. And someone gets an invite to a room on the top floor of the hotel, which is where this giant, magnificent suite is, right?
Hell yeah.
So we're like, okay, yeah, we gotta go. Like, you can look down and see the atrium of the entire, like, indoor hotel, which is pretty majestic.
Damn.
So we go to this, it's called the Presidential Suite, and we walk in, and there's a goddamn bounce house in the room.
What? Like a
Yeah.
full-on bounce house?
Not like you would see at...
But like one that has like a little, I've seen like mini ones
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of.
like one you might see at, like, a daycare, right?
Yeah.
It was probably, like, 7 feet tall by
Damn.
9 feet wide by 9 feet long. Just in the hotel room, and people are bouncing around in the bounce house at, like, 5 a.m.
Holy shit.
It was wild, man. We got to get a bounce house.
That shit's awesome. People jumping up and down. They're like, wait a second. I didn't recognize that butt plug. Damn.
I mean, there weren't any butt plugs in the bounce house. There might, I didn't see any. But yeah, some interesting times
Hell
down there
yeah.
at MagFest.
Well, I'm glad you had a great time. It sounds very eventful, from the chicken to the Santa to the bounce house. But
Yeah.
damn, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you had a great time.
Yeah, we covered everything. We covered eating well. We covered sex. And we covered just having fun in a bounce house. You know what I'm saying? All of the above.
The Holy Trinity.
The three main staples in life, honestly.
But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I heard y'all got several inches of snow. Trevor, did you shovel this time?
I tried to, and then the shovel just broke like instantly.
You gotta
It
get
was
a new
like old
shovel.
plastic. Yeah, it was just
Damn.
one that was just sitting in the back of our basement. That like I don't know how old it is. It's just like one of those things that just was sitting.
Was it
in
for
here.
shoveling sand at the beach?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, like one of the little wooden handle
Yeah,
ones
it's
with the
probably
plastic.
for sand
Yeah.
castles, not for ice.
You might be onto something there. but yeah,
It's a little handheld one, you said.
but like yeah, I went out and tried to because there was a little tiny like kind of layer of ice that needed to be broken up, and I tried to dig into it and just like crack right away. And then I just
Oh my God.
threw it in their recycling. I was like, well, I tried everybody.
Like,
Sorry.
well,
I
this
guess
is the best I got.
my landlord is just gonna have to take care of this.
Damn.
Which they did. It was like by the next morning it was all cleaned up, but
We got our shit handled pretty
whatever.
quickly. I'm like, about the snow. I don't let that shit linger. I ain't trying to really slip or
Some
anything
might say
like
you
that.
need a butt plug from Santa.
Honestly.
I did eat shit on the way home on like last I guess this was like last Thursday. Like walking down 10th Street, and there was this one area where it was just like, I don't know, no one lives there or something, but it was just like complete ice, and I just
Yeah.
totally slipped and ate
Damn.
shit. I was worried that like my work laptop was going to be fucked up, so I
Oh.
like landed on my back, but it was okay.
like a little turtle. Damn.
Yeah.
No, it didn't fall, thankfully. We were pretty good getting that shit out, but other than that, it was all right. Just cold. Real fucking cold.
Yeah, it was frigid. Right
Yeah.
off the Potomac River, man. I
Oh, I
was
bet.
cold.
The video was nice, though. You sent off the river. That was cool.
Oh, yeah, with the Ferris wheel in the
Yeah.
background in the snow.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it was, like I said, man, it was a great time walking through the snow. I think I mentioned this last week. Top tier activity. I was so glad to do it down there.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the river, seeing the Ferris wheel. I got a hoagie while I was down there, too.
Nice.
They got a primo hoagie down there.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was banging. I got
All
an Al Diablo with the roast beef and the turkey.
Okay, now we're talking. Good eating right there again.
Mm-hmm. Gotta eat well. But anyway, I guess I gotta drink well, too, I suppose, for
That's right.
my bet last week.
Nick Sirianni
Nick
is here
Sirianni
to
is
stay.
officially
He's
back.
here.
So
Yeah.
yeah, let me pour myself 2 shots. Man
Despite
of my
what
word.
everybody wants to see, he is back.
Is that what we really want to see, though? I mean,
Well, that's what 2 out of 3. Well, maybe
I
not
don't
wanted
know
to
if
see,
we
but
wanted to see, but y'all said it was going to happen.
I said I wouldn't mind seeing it if he cleared house, and it seems as though that's what's happening. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
feeling
it's-
better about that. He's
It's
not
weird.
just staying.
Yeah, it's weird because that was kind of my thing was, if he finds another person to implement their
want one?
offense and kind
Yeah, I'll
of
take one.
take
You want
charge of
one?
the offense,
Yeah.
that I'm okay with that. But now that seems to be what's happening, I'm kind of coming back to, well, what's the point of him being here if he's not coaching the defense, not coaching the offense? And they had that press conference today, and someone pretty much asked him, what is your role going to be? And he was like, I'm the head coach.
Yeah.
And it was just, and he just kind of rambled along a lot about, culture.
Percentages.
And, he said, I think he said, like, I might sit in on more defensive meetings now because I didn't do that before. And I don't know, man. It just seems like a weird, I hope it works. I mean, I feel like if they do have 2 good coordinators, it should be okay. But it just seems like a strange arrangement.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm not happy or mad that he's here or not here. I think that our biggest gripe was with the coordinators that we've seen because we didn't think that he was doing a whole lot. Last year went unnoticed because he was doing so well, but the one thing I did like about the press conference was that he did mention his like immaturity, which was good because we all talked
Yeah,
about that the last, pretty much all year. And I think that we're in an age now where like the media is so involved in everyday life of the coach, like whether who's coaching what, who's making the plays. We're like, I'd be hard pressed to believe that like when Andy Reid was first hired here in '99, that like he was calling every single thing. And you look at that defense. With Jim,
I highly doubt that.
but like
yeah.
you look at the defense with Jim Johnson, like I doubt he was involved in that, and like that was a big piece of like okay, we have a defensive coach and the head coach, and offense Andy kind of took over. Where, Nick Sirianni is still getting his legs under him. He wasn't really an OC for that long. He was a wide receivers coach. He doesn't have a lot of tenure at coaching. So, one of the reasons why we liked him in the beginning was that he was honest and is very says what he feels a lot, which makes him sound like an idiot sometimes, but you respect him for that too because he doesn't hide anything that way or give you bullshit. He gives you his honest self, which is what it is. So I think this year is a big learning curve. I think this past season was a big learning curve for him, and I'm hoping that Laurie and Howie saw that in him and were like, all right, well, he's making the right adjustments in a way. Unfortunately, the only way to find out if it works out or not is if they play well this year, and the offense is explosive. But they mentioned that it was stagnant, and he mentioned that too. And, like how he said, if they had a time machine, they would go back to when they beat the Bills and reset after that game. And it is what it is. So I think that all we can do is move forward, and I hope that, they just learn from those mistakes in the past season.
Yeah, I think, hold on, before I get this thought. So, I think Pat and I made this bet off the pod, but at some point towards the beginning of the Eagles season, we bet a bottle of whiskey that Jalen Carter would not end up with 5 sacks. I said he would not. Pat said he would. He ended up with exactly 5. He got the 5th against Seattle and then did not get any more.
Did nothing. Yeah, they have snuck in there.
I mean, if there was one thing that worked out for the Eagles this season, it's that Pat gets his bottle of whiskey.
Thank you very much, sir.
I think he will do a shot of with me.
Jameson, I will do a shot with you.
I didn't break the seal on that one yet.
That's all right.
Then I got to remember what my Sirianni thought was, so I got it written down here.
Beautiful. I will partake in one of your 2 shots that you have to do, but I will not be doing 2.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll do one at the beginning of the Eagles segment and one at the end. All right. Woo. So, yeah, my Sirianni thought is that I do think that he's going to be on a short leash this year. I think that just given the way that last year ended, that it took this meeting for him to be able to even convince them to bring him back means that the jury's out on him to an extent, right?
Big time.
Yeah.
He's under a microscope.
Yeah, so as far as bringing in these coordinators, I think Vic Fangio has some head coaching experience. It'll kind of help Sirianni along and help him in that regard. I don't think Vic Fangio wants to be a head coach anymore. He's 65 years old.
Yeah.
Just wants to be close to home at this point. But, yeah, Vic Fangio will probably help Sirianni in that regard as far as, like, game management stuff, just culture guy, things like that. And then as far as the offensive coordinator goes, I mean, they've interviewed Cliff Kingsbury so far, who I'm not crazy about.
Yeah, I'm up in the air about him. I mean, I think that the door is wide open. I mean, I think that the defensive coordinator position was a lot more important to fill with a good person than the OC is, just because Brian Johnson, again, to like the immaturity part, like doesn't have a lot of experience with this shit, and like we have the tools. Like you're sitting on a Ferrari. Like you don't need to be a fucking groundbreaking coordinator to be able to coach this offense into a good team. Like any of us, if you've played Madden for long enough, you could probably put together a decent game plan with these players if you get Swift back or a good running back as well.
I dare say we could have put together a better game plan, you and me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think that.
Just slant RPO.
Right. Like you don't need a moron in there or like some ground like Cliff Kingsbury, I think was a great guy. He was with USC too with Caleb Williams this last season. So, he's a young promising coordinator. I think he needs some time to come back to reality in the NFL. I don't know if we're the team to do it.
Yeah. I agree.
My reservation with him is that from what I understand, he basically runs a very similar offense to what we were doing before.
It's very collegey.
It's really shotgun heavy. And I don't know if I really want to retread. I think something a little more fresh.
I don't know if his name's been floated around yet because I don't know if Washington has made a decision yet. But Bieniemy would be an interesting name.
I have him written down. Totally, I have him written down.
Yeah, I think that he kind of got dealt a very shitty hand in Washington. I mean, that team was just destined to be a dumpster fire anyway. So I think that you give him his little creative mind and his tenure in the NFL as a respected coach. He has a long tenure for playing hard practice as well. I mean, KC always had good practices and shit like that too, and is a good offensive mind. A lot of time under Andy Reid, which is never a bad thing for an explosive offense, or at least a West Coast style, which usually favors how the Eagles' offensive players usually operate.
Yeah, I
would like him. Frank Reich, I think, is a name that should be looked at and interviewed at least, kick the rocks on, see what he's up to.
Yeah.
But I want more tenure as an OC than I want a creative mind. I think if you want to have that creative mind, you got Sirianni, whatever he does do, he gives you that young kind of sporadic energy. You want someone that's a more centered guy to be your OC, I think, at this point. You tried Brian Johnson out to test out a young buck as well, and it didn't work out. Yeah,
I think that's the thing, right, is you need someone that has some experience, which is why Bieniemy's so high on my list. He has experience running the offense in KC. You look at what the offense in KC did this year without him. And I mean, they didn't have any stud receivers, but they didn't really have any last year, and they were a lot better last year. I mean, for a lot of his tenure there, they had Tyreek Hill, but there were years where he had a slightly above average wide receivers, slightly above average running backs, and he still made that offense top 3 in the league. I get it. It's Andy Reid. It's Patrick Mahomes. But Bieniemy clearly had its say in the way that they ran things. Even Washington, not for nothing. I know they were bad this year.
Yeah.
Offensively, they were better than they had been
Especially
in the last
with
couple
what
years.
He was with the
Right.
cards he got dealt there. Sam Howell. Yeah, I mean, imagine
Mediocre offensive line.
Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
I mean, you had
Terry
guys
McLaurin's pretty good.
Yeah,
But yeah.
But you had and
It's no A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith,
Exactly.
this O-line, DeAndre Swift,
healthy
right?
Goddard. You got a great O-line, and I think that would be a good name. And honestly, he should be a hot target for anybody that's looking for an OC. I think every team, just about, or 22 teams are looking for an OC. So it's a weird phase in the NFL where that's kind of a revolving door, where before it was like, if you went to the Super Bowl, you get gutted. Now it's like, if you sniff the playoffs, you get gutted. As long as you have a good season on offense, you lose your coordinators right away. But I think if they want to go with ingenuity, they go with a younger guy. If they want to go with stability and building a team that's going to be a perennial deep run playoff team, you have to get guys that are already established from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like a Frank Reich, who's been in the league for a while, like a Bieniemy, who's been here for a while. But the jury's kind of out. I don't really know which way they go. I'm glad they didn't go. I know that what's it called? Who was getting kicked around from Washington? Who was their head coach that just got let go?
Oh, Ron Rivera.
He was getting
I
potential ties.
was actually talking myself with him for DC, but now that Fangio's available, it's like, okay, he's the obvious guy.
I was tepid on that just because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like when you get a guy that was just recently out of a head coaching job, there could be a sense of turmoil there with letting go of the reins. And I know that he has ties with Philly. I would like him as a positional coach if we ever did draft a fucking good linebacker or had a linebacker core. He would be great to go back to that, I think, would be great. Or like a run defensive coordinator with Fangio would be great. But I don't want him to be the main shot caller on defense. I think Vic Fangio was a way better defensive-minded coach that way.
Right, yeah, I mean, given the choice between the two, I'm taking Vic Fangio. His defense, rather, it's what everyone tries to emulate in the NFL, but no one can do it as well as him.
Yep, they were top two in sack percentage this year.
They were really good till dudes started getting hurt.
They were tied for second place in sack percentage. We were 24th compared to being top two again last year.
Think about all these guys that try to run his defense, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we had one in Sean Desai.
Yep.
Brandon Staley. Who's the other guy I'm thinking of? Oh, Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah,
Johnny Gans. Like, all these guys try to run his defense, but they just don't do as well as him because he's the one that created it. I do think that teams are starting to catch up to that defensive scheme a little bit, but, I mean, he's the OG. He'll adjust. And
he's been around the block. He's coached good teams. He's coached bad teams in a good division.
Yeah, I mean, he coached the Bears for a while when they weren't any good. He coached the Niners, the NFC Championship game back in the early 2010s. My man knows his stuff, and he'll adjust as needed. And plus, man, he's not from here. He's from East Stroudsburg, which is in the Poconos, but this is kind of like a homecoming for him. He's a huge Phillies fan. He doesn't want to let the city down.
He helped us out in the Super Bowl. I mean, so there's ties.
The connection's been there the whole time. We love him. He
pretty
loves
much
us.
as good as go to come back here in Philly. The biggest key is going to be who's going to be the OC. And that's, that is the biggest question because that really funnels the rest of the offense and the team's future, really. Because the defense, they got a lot to work on just from a personnel perspective. They got older. You're going to lose either Cox or Graham or both or whoever is going to get out of there. Hopefully Bradbury. But the offense, you could put up 35, 40 points a game if you had the right tools for it.
Yeah, the offense is ready-made for success. So I guess one of the interesting things I was thinking about the O-coordinator thing is, Hurts has basically grown up with Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
Do you think he feels some type of way about Brian Johnson being let go?
I mean, it seems like kind of, I don't know. I mean, do you think if Hurts was really adamant about keeping him, then maybe he'd still be here?
I think that
maybe, yeah.
I think the fucking bird needs to fly out of the nest. I think that he
what's that supposed to mean?
I think that to be a grown ass man in the NFL, you're like, I have an attachment to this guy. He was your quarterback coach, okay, got you the MVP caliber quarterback coach. I think that there's a certain point where like you never hear of like the Bradys and the fucking Peyton Mannings and the Joe Montanas where they're like, wow, I really wanted my offensive coordinator to still be here 10 years. Like, it's not you get to the point where you're the guy, you're the quarterback. You're supposed to be the guy that's calling the shots when you need to and having a great understanding of the offensive scheme and reading defenses. I think that Brian Johnson and you could see the regression in Hurts, whether it was his knee not being fully healthy or just the offensive game plan not being good. That wasn't a good relationship, and I think that they both needed to separate, where Brian Johnson might be a phenomenal quarterback coach because he can focus on you, my main guy, boom, that's it. What you need to do to get you prepared, that's good to go. When he had to deal with the whole other 11 guys on the field or whatever, 10 guys on the field, he clearly was like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't do it, and I think that some separation is good. You know, Brian Johnson might not even land anywhere. He may. I mean, he probably will, but if he doesn't, bring him back as... in a year or so as an advisor for whatever, but I think that this is it's growth for Hurts. You know, he needs to be able to adapt, learn some more new schemes or whatever it is that he's got to do. But I don't think that there's any rift in that. And I think that if Hurts does say anything about it, he's got no proof in the pudding to really stand on that, because the last 7 games, they were fucking stale as a brick.
Yeah, those are very good points. At first, I was kind of thinking, maybe Hurts, because Hurts already kind of seemed sheepish on Sirianni at the end of the year when he's like, I didn't know he was going somewhere. And then they asked him if he wanted him back or if he had confidence. He said he had confidence in everyone. He didn't directly embrace him. But, after that, I'm just thinking, the Brian Johnson thing, maybe it isn't a big deal. I think you've kind of swung me in terms of not caring about it so much because, they have had this relationship since they were kids, since Hurts was a kid. But at the same time, have to understand the NFL's a business. If you don't produce, you get fired. You get let go. You go somewhere else. And the other thing that I was thinking is, you think back to that Seattle game that we complained about, where Hurts was saying, or AJ Brown saying, we checked into a play different from the play call.
Yep.
That's Hurts essentially saying to Brian Johnson, this is a bad play call. I don't like it. And he did that a couple other times this year. And I remember at the end of the season, the reporters asked Hurts about it, and he's like, there were a lot of times that I would check out of plays. He famously said, you don't know what you don't know to the reporters. So he probably did it a lot more and was just playing it coy, just saying, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how much I did this. I think he probably did it a lot because he was losing faith in Brian Johnson as a play caller. So are they still probably going to be friends? Yeah, I'm sure they will be. But at the same time, the NFL's a businessman. If you don't produce, you got to get the hell out.
And they didn't produce at all. So, you put up a touchdown in a playoff game.
Yeah, 9 points.
I mean, it was just pathetic, And so, their relationship, I'm sure, is going to be fine off the field. I don't really care about that if they're friends or not. That fucking doesn't matter to me at all if they're friends or not, or family friends. I couldn't give a shit about that. You're paying a man $280 million a year to throw the football around. And there was a clear rift, and he had another press conference where Hurts was, a report came out where they weren't seeing eye to eye for that whole last leg of the season, and it showed.
Yeah.
Because the offense just couldn't do anything. And by the time you get to play, and you got 10 seconds to call an audible, ain't nobody doing that shit. It was bad.
Ultimately, if there's any kind of disconnect there, as the organization, you have to err on the side of your franchise quarterback, not a expendable coordinator.
Yeah, you're paying him a lot more. Your future's tied to him a lot more.
Even if you do believe in the guy, it's like, well,
And it's
if
if
it doesn't work with Hurts, then it's not working.
It's not a tenured OC either. It's a former quarterback coach, which no knock on quarterback coaches, but Hurts is the one out there playing and manipulating the field and being the guy. If your OC is lacking like that, then he's got to go, and that's okay. I think it's totally fine. But it's a great opportunity to help get Hurts back to the MVP caliber that we know he can be, with great leadership, with a guy that isn't going to be emotional or be like, oh, hey, man. You want a guy that treats him like a pro athlete, like a grown man. Cut and dry, rip him up a little bit. The first year when him and Sirianni were head coach and quarterback together, when he had that almost MVP year, Sirianni and Hurts mentioned it too, that he was yelling at me like my dad did, and it triggered something that made him play better. So they didn't do any of that this year, because I feel like maybe Bieniemy was a little bit, or Brian Johnson was babying a little bit, and I think that that's the case. So it's a big year for the offense as a whole.
Yeah, it should be very. Damn, you got that Guinness fizz. Woo-ha. Yeah, it should be interesting to see. I guess we'll see who they end up looking at for offensive coordinator. Kingsbury's the only interview I've seen, but my phone's been busted all day, and they had this press conference. I doubt that they interviewed anyone else after the press conference, but have you all seen them show interest in any other offensive guys?
I definitely heard what was it, Gerard Johnson's name being thrown around.
quarterback
I don't know
coach
if they're
for the
definitely,
Texans?
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if they're definitely bringing him in for an interview or not, or if
That'd
they-
be interesting.
I would not
Yeah.
want that. I think that
He's part of the Shanahan tree.
Shanahan
Apparently.
tree, he had one
Oh.
good year with Stroud, which is cool, but like give that man just based off of what we have just gone through, I don't know if going from one QB coach who had a great year, MVP caliber year with the quarterback, to a phenomenal rookie quarterback coach and QB duo to like give them the keys again. I don't like that.
I don't
at all.
know enough about him.
I don't know if he's a bad. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I just don't like that model.
Also, man, we probably have the offensive personnel to run most schemes, so we can probably run the Shanahan scheme. But that's also, it's going to end up being like the Fangio scheme,
Yeah.
where
Right.
teams figure out how to stop it, how to beat it. The reason why the Niners are good is because Shanahan's the one that created it, right?
Right? He knows how to. It's
I
like
mean,
Andy
look at the
Reid.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
The Dolphins have two of the best, a top three wide receiver duo. We have one, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase are another one. But the Dolphins have a top three wide receiver duo. They have the best running back room in the league, arguably, between A-Chain, Mostert, and Jeff Wilson, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they were a first-round exit this year. Their offense just shit the bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'd be wary of just going with someone because he's a Shanahan guy.
Yeah.
And I'd want to see more.
Also, yeah, I mean, to your point, the fact that he's only been a QB coach and not, higher than that, it would be kind of strange and off-putting if they say to Sirianni, okay, like the offensive coordinator we're going to let him run the offense and you're going to take a step back and then bring in a guy who's never been an OC before.
That's what I'm saying.
That
Yeah.
would be like, if I were Nick, that would rub me the wrong way.
You're doing the
So
same
I think they
exact
got to
thing.
bring in a guy who's a little more experienced.
Also, that would be a detriment to CJ Stroud's career. Where like, give the man one more year with the same guy
Yeah,
in the same
right.
position. Like, I don't know why the NFL is so happy like to let guys go and interview. I get that, you know what I mean? But like,
Cash some checks, man. Get
I-
that bag, dude.
I understand, but just like players need like,
It's a business.
I understand that getting the bag and all that shit, get money and all that, but at the same time, the other goal of playing football and in the NFL is to win championships and to be, get in the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. If you just want to make money, that's fine, but then don't get mad when your team doesn't win. If you get guys that are interchangeable every fucking year, where like you have a rookie head coach in Houston, a great rookie quarterback with promise, same with Detroit, with a lot of rookies making big plays in the playoffs this year. I think that teams need to be able to figure out like, okay, either A, have better conversations, make a little bit better offer for things like that with the promise of developmental growth for here and there for whatever, but like, it doesn't help out. CJ Stroud could be a bum next year if that guy goes and you fill a seat with somebody else, give them the answer. Like, they're used to continuity and stability in teams. And I feel like you're losing that in the NFL now in the coaching realms, and it's showing in the NFL because this year was a fucking slop
Yeah,
fest in the
it
NFL.
is showing the quality of play. That's a very good point.
Total slop fest. There's no, it would be boring, I guess, in a way to see that, like, Bill Parcells is with Dallas for 30 years and all that, or whatever, the Giants and all this shit. But, I think that I'm old school that way coaching wise for like,
Yeah,
You
you're not into this new hookup culture that's permeating the NFL.
we talk about apps with their coaching app now. Yeah, what team is
Yeah,
hot?
they're
Who-
probably-
you know what I mean?
Yeah, just
No.
can't get into anything serious. Won't commit.
No, let them drink beer at halftime. Let them get CD like they used to. Call it a day. You know what I mean? LT was always saying, like, you know what? The one interview for Lawrence Taylor, they're like, so, like, why'd you do so much crack all the time? He's like, well, I'll tell you what, never really affected my play. So, like,
Well, I'm not going back that far, but let someone have a couple shots of Henny and some Skittles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the early 2000s, you had Andy Reid was our coach for like 14 years.
Mhm.
Belichick had been there for a while. Bill
24,
Parcells, you
yep.
know what I'm saying? I was down with that from that perspective.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's the main point is
Yeah.
that, like, you need, you're not going to be able to build a new championship caliber team with new coaches every other year. It just isn't going to happen. So you can either enjoy the ride while you have it, or then don't complain when coaches get swapped out every other year.
Honestly, it's probably why Tom Brady ran the league for so long and why Pat Mahomes is set up to do it. Because every other team they
They're a
aren't
mess.
consistent enough. There isn't enough, what's the word I'm looking for, longevity with their coaching staff and their players. So that's a good point. We'll see what we end up doing at OC, but hey, I will do my other shot now because you know what? Matt Patricia is not our DC anymore.
I think I'll do a second one with
He
you
can
then for
kiss
that
my
one.
ass in front of the crowd on Broad Street, dude. Get the hell out of here.
See you later.
With your bitch ass pencil.
Yeah, it was funny how.
Fuck Matt Patricia.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was funny because I think his camp initially said, because he was only under contract for the 1 year, said they're like, yeah, I think he's going to explore other options, as if they were ever going to keep him. Like,
Yeah, they were like, he's a top defensive coordinator candidate in the league.
for sure, dude.
It's like, my ass, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a top defensive coordinator in the league if he is.
The Birds might have ended on a loss, but that was a nice little win to just bury his career real quick.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm back on the Eagles
He's
now.
about to be in the new, what's it going to be called? The
USFL.
There's another one now?
Well, they're merging the XFL and the USFL.
Oh my fucking God. Give it a break.
So now what's it going to be called? The XUS?
I think it's just like the USF or something. United
States football.
No one's going to... I'm not going to watch that.
I mean, yeah, I don't think that.
Anybody watch? That's why
People are going to start betting on it, dude. Sportsbooks are going to have those games free to bet on.
For sure.
That's wild.
I mean, you already can. Everything. You can bet on fucking Ukrainian ping pong
Hey.
if you want to.
Oh, now you're on the Ukrainian shit, huh? Mm-hmm.
But you can't bet on the weather either. Remember I was saying this last week, you should be able to bet on the weather?
I don't know.
They need to bring that back, man. I'd be making paper. That arthritic toe be acting up, I'd be like, damn, it's a storm in the forecast, whether the weather people are calling it or not. I'd probably be right more often than not.
Big time.
That bunion would be howling, dude. I'd be like, damn, torrential downpour about to hit.
That's information I would like to know the inside scoop on. I like the weather.
Yeah.
I like knowing what's about
Rather
to go
watch
down.
the Weather Channel than XUS, or what are they calling this?
I don't know. I forget.
Well, I'd rather watch
But I
the
know
Weather
they're
Channel.
merging.
Weather Channel used to be banging with that smooth jazz.
Hell yeah.
They would be showing the Doppler the whole time. Like, yeah, I like this.
Now, like the weather. Do you ever go on the weather.com, like the website?
Yeah.
It's just funny how they have kind of these random news stories on there, and they're always just the most weird, like depressing
Oh, yeah.
shit.
Oh, mudslide kills
Like,
200 people.
Yeah. You're like,
But
what's
sometimes
the
it's
weather in
just
my
not-
area, though?
Yeah, sometimes it's not even related to the weather. It's just weird, sort of tabloid
I'd never seen that
stuff.
before.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Damn, they're like, Celine Dion's
You know, they
8-year-old
gotta-
husband died. You're like, oh,
That's what
interesting.
happens when you let
You gotta pay the bill somehow, you know.
That's what happens when you let the AI write your stories, dude. You're the Weather Channel. You're writing stories
Yeah.
about Celine Dion's face tattoo. It's like, I don't even... She probably doesn't have one.
Nah,
Yeah,
she's
that
too
girl, she
beautiful
had a
and
face
pure.
tattoo.
She ain't got a face tattoo.
Celine Dion just has an 8-ball on her forehead.
It's
Like,
Titanic.
it's been a long time since the Titanic song.
Titanic
was a
on her
hit.
cheek. There was some AI shit going around where people kept posting these AI videos of like the Eiffel Tower being on fire this week.
What?
Yeah, but it wasn't. But
I
people were
didn't
just
see
generating
this.
these AI videos of it, and people were like, "Oh my god, when did this happen? Is this going on?" And it wasn't true.
Did you see? Have you guys watched the new True Detective? At all?
Hell, fucking yeah!
I have not yet.
Not a single one.
No, I'm
so this-
probably
so-
I'm gonna binge it this weekend.
So this
I
is
was out of town last
two.
weekend.
Yeah, there's only 2 episodes as far, but this isn't like a spoiler or anything. But in the last episode that came out Sunday, there was a scene where they're like talking to some guy in his bedroom, and he has these 2 like posters on his wall, and it seemed pretty clear that they were AI generated posters because one of them looked like it was supposed to be a Metallica poster. And it's funny that people started talking this online because I kept looking at it and it was like, it just looked off because I was like, it looks like the Metallica logo, but it doesn't really say Metallica.
I noticed the posters, but I
it
was
looks
curious
I wanna
about
see
that.
this
It looks
now.
like it's a little bit like the lettering's off. Something's weird about this. And then someone pointed out that on the bottom it had like dates or whatever, and it said like November 1st or whatever. But then it also had like instead of second, it had 2ST. So like no, I don't think it was that.
I know. I'm kidding.
But it was
He's
just,
a mummer.
It just,
He ended up being a mummer.
yeah, they were either it was either AI generated or it was just some very bizarre attempt to get around copyright infringement or something.
Oh man, I gotta check
but
this
it was
out now.
it's funny because I was watching it and it was definitely very distracting because I immediately noticed that like that poster looks weird.
That was a short scene too. Damn.
I know.
Damn, I gotta check this out.
I will say when you do watch it though, put the subtitles on because sometimes they be spitting in like the little Inuit kind of shit. And
I always watch things with subtitles.
I don't because I hate it, but I had when we watched it. I had to because I was like, they'll probably say something here, and I'm like, oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah,
sort of like TV shows and even like movies now. Everyone is just mumbling stuff.
Yeah, or it's too loud. I can't get the TV volume right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's
You're right.
Sort of done in the service of being more realistic because it's like this is actually how people talk, but there is something to the idea of. You know, you watch like a movie from the 50s and they're all talking like this. And blah, blah, blah.
Dude,
it's like, but they're very clear and you can understand what the fuck everyone's saying.
When you have to be following subtitles and whatnot, sometimes that's distracting.
You miss the thing.
It doesn't bother me.
But no, my point is like when people projected, you didn't really have to worry about that. You could hear very clearly what they're saying, right? But now
they can have the mics like hidden underneath their hair.
And you can't really hear them. And then it's just like, damn, let me go back and play that scene. Yeah. Let me have the subtitles on the screen, then I might miss something visually.
Right.
Yeah, or sometimes just like I'm too damn tired or I'm drinking or I'm a little high and it's like those subtitles be moving too fast sometimes.
Yeah, I can't read that fast. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like...
Just speaking honestly.
The problem too with it also sometimes is that like when it's the volume control where like either a scene happens where like someone's whispering but they're like at a club or like they're at an outside event so like the music is loud or like it's just a loud room so like I can't hear what they're saying, and no matter how much you turn it up, you can't hear what they're saying. But then you turn it back down when it gets quiet.
Do you know what the other annoying thing is with subtitles? I was running into this problem when I was watching this show Snowfall. I don't know if you guys have watched that at all.
Oh, John was watching that when I lived.
A lot of it is there's a lot of characters in it that speak Spanish. So, but the problem is, so the actual show just without the titles would have subtitle like. English subtitles for when people are speaking Spanish, but then if I have subtitles turned on, the like layered subtitles on top of that will just say like speaking Spanish, and so and then I can't see, so I have to like turn it off for that, and then it's so annoying.
Yeah, we're not team subtitles, man.
No,
we're team bring back projection in your film. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just have like really bad like dubs and just.
That's the other thing too. You lose it in translation, where like sometimes the subtitles are like. What the fuck did they just say? But it's not really.
Sometimes
like what
there's
they
just
mean.
not direct translations for certain things, and
which
that's
is
just
what
part of watching foreign films. And
now I have to learn a whole other language.
Chinese.
I'm like, God damn it! No, I'm kidding, but like, you know what I mean?
Damn. Now, what about when you're watching Chinese porn? Oh, oops. Never mind. Moving on.
You said,
So you get the back. You got to back up. Make sure you get the whole story.
He said that's when he's playing with his Japanese friends.
What is the? Hey, I said Chinese, not Japanese. Hey, you watch that, man.
So I miss some important dialogue here between this woman and the pizza man.
Yeah, I couldn't quite get over the whole.
Like what's wrong with those pipes?
Yeah. What?
Oh my God. Well, I guess let's move on, yo.
Damn.
Do we want to talk
about Flyers or the Sixers?
Do we want to talk about Reese Hoskins?
I
feel like we kind of already talked about Reese.
I mean, we kind of saw this coming a while ago. So I mean,
we figured he was gone. Dude. We were sad about it.
Good for him for getting a 2-year deal. You would have thought he would have just had to do like a 1-year prove-it deal somewhere.
My understanding is an opt-out.
It is an opt-out in the second year.
Okay, so if he does a really good year, then you can.
It's after the second year? I thought it was after the first.
Or after the first year, I meant. So, he plays 1 year. I could see him coming back next year.
Yeah, I mean, he was ready to come back in the World Series if we would have made it.
Yeah, I think he comes back to us next season. Like, not next season, but like after.
You think he comes back
to Philly? I don't think he's gone.
I don't know where he plays.
Yeah, I don't think he's gone. I think that. I just hear me out.
I could see him coming back years from now as just like a bench bat or something.
I think he comes back after next season. I will say.
We'll see, man. But good for him. He got that paper.
2-year, 40-some mil?
34.
34.
Yeah.
There's the 4 in there.
Yeah, so good for him. They signed this dude, Colby Allard. He's ass, dude.
I didn't even see this.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw it on Twitter a couple days ago. He was actually the 14th pick of the Braves, and I want to say the 2018 draft. But His career stats, this is what I have written down. I can't look them up because my phone's dead. But 9-24 with a 6.10 ERA.
What?
Dude.
A what? A
A
9?
6.10 ERA.
Fuck that. How old is he?
He was drafted. I don't know. I can't
2018.
check.
Yeah, but that's baseball. He could be
He's
like
probably like mid-20s if I had to
okay,
guess.
so he's still young.
Because they can unlock something in him,
Yeah.
but I think it's just a depth signing. But hey, pitchers
hope
and
it's just a
catchers,
depth
pitchers and catchers in 3 weeks. We
Yeah.
might get to see what this cat can do.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean
see.
that's fine. We'll see what he can do. I mean, that's fine. Reese Hoskins, I wish him the best of luck. I think he'll probably hit. I hope he hits like
Milwaukee,
25, 30 dingers. That'd be nice to see.
he'll be a good fit in Milwaukee. Their
Big time.
offense was butt last year, dude.
Yeah.
He'll just be crushing fucking Miller Lights up there.
Wisconsin's,
No, they were
never
good
been.
for a minute last year. Though.
Milwaukee, the team, they were
Yeah.
good. Wisconsin, the state.
He would fit in just fine up there, though. We should. Means he left. We already talked about our best Reese Hoskins moment too. When that
Yeah, we
happened.
talked about
see,
that
we already
already.
knew he was going to
we
be out
kind
of
of,
here.
yeah, we kind of.
Yeah.
went through
I
this.
mean,
it's just official now.
he can enjoy some cheese curds and some cheap beer. That's about all Wisconsin has, man.
Yeah.
Cheese curds do be live, though.
Yeah.
Then you imagine we play them in the.
It
Yeah,
could
we
happen.
play them in the
It could very-
playoffs. He
The
doesn't-
one time I
he
was
doesn't
in
bat back against us.
Chicago for a couple of days, we kept hanging out at this Packers bar.
Hell
So we
yeah.
were just eating cheese curds and shit. It was nice.
Yeah, I've hung out in Wisconsin. The cheese curds from the source are good. Other than that, Wisconsin's pretty booty, dude.
There's nothing out there.
I went
except
to a mall in
making a
Wisconsin.
murder.
It was sadder than the fashion district.
Damn.
There ain't
The
nothing
fashion
out
district.
there.
Maybe they should put an arena there instead.
They probably should. But Cleveland is better than Wisconsin. Yo, shout out that guy on TikTok.
Yeah.
Do we know that guy?
No, hell no, we don't.
I
I don't
know.
know
Hell yeah.
him. But hey,
Respect.
Cleveland.
I wonder what his opinions are on Wisconsin. You got to post this video so he can comment
Yeah,
and tell us
yeah.
what his opinions are.
That
But,
shit was hysterical.
Yeah, that
He said,
was
but
funny.
you can't bring the house back. I said, what?
I don't know what that meant. I kept reading. I was like, I don't
was
know.
like, we didn't talk shit on the home, so I don't know what he meant.
The Cleveland's are maybe he's saying you can't bring the house back to Cleveland, so you'd have to stay there.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's-
It's not like a trailer park or a mobile home where you can just
Yeah.
put that on a truck and bring it back.
true.
It's too big.
He's a Philly guy, man. I respect that. What was his
I
name?
don't remember.
Jake, it was something with a J.
Well, hey, man, he's a Philly guy. I respect that. But
Should we talk about the?
let's do the Flyers. I don't
Yeah.
want to end on a low note.
Yeah, nice.
So the Flyers have been not too good lately. Some things have happened.
They've been getting smoked.
Well,
though,
hold
too.
We can get to the things that have happened, but what I will say, man, is about these last 3 games is they played the Avalanche and they played the Lightning. What the hell did we expect?
Yeah.
And that game against the Avs, I don't think they played particularly poorly.
Even the Lightning game was close to the very end.
Yeah.
They came back a little bit. They were tough games. I mean, they had just beaten the Stars. They've beaten a lot of good teams. You're not going to beat those teams all
We
the
beat
time.
the Avs in Colorado. We
Yeah,
already
yeah.
beat them once.
Yeah, so I mean, they, that game, the Avs were really just capitalizing on the chances that they had. It was just, I don't know, bounces didn't go our way, is what it is.
Yeah,
I don't think the team is like falling apart or anything. The Owen Tippett injury is a pretty big blow. He was
He was
been having a
pucking,
He was
dude.
doing really well.
That shot against Dallas.
Oh my God,
I
yeah.
didn't get to see it live,
That
but
shit
I
was
saw
nuts.
the
Oh
mad
my
highlights
God.
of it.
Oh, yeah. That was a goal of the year.
Yeah.
It was like a hockey Euro step right there. That shit was nuts. He said,
Yeah, that was bonkers, yo.
no sense.
But
He
yeah.
said, I saw it. I just went for it. And it worked out. I'm like, what the fuck?
But yeah, I mean, as far as the Flyers are concerned, like, if anything, these games, they've faced, in the last 4 games, they've faced 3 cup contenders in Dallas, Colorado, and Tampa.
But 1 and 3.
And, yeah, they went 1-3. One of the games that they won was against Dallas.
And I will say,
One of the games that they lost was the unacceptable loss to
Yeah.
the Senators. One of the worst teams in
Yeah.
hockey, which you can't.
That
be
was
doing
that was the one game where they legit were just playing poorly.
It's the second half of back-to-back, I get it.
Yeah.
But this team sucks ass, dude. They're really bad on
Of course,
the road.
Drew scored a goal.
Hey, man, we won that trade, though. Even
Oh,
though I
yeah.
would love to have
Yeah.
Drew back, Tippett's been pucking. Tippett's going to be pucking for a while.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't read too much into those losses because, you know what I'm saying? Yes, you did lose a bad game to the Senators, but you also played pretty tough against the Avalanche and the Lightning.
Yeah,
I mean,
when they lose, I would rather them. I know they're playing like really good teams, but I would rather them see them lose, respectively. I know they came back. The one game against Tampa Bay, which was pretty good. They almost came back, then they kind of got beat again. But like 6 goals a game, in 2 of those losses, it's not like.
I mean, Tampa game, 2 of those were empty netters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That game was close until the last couple minutes.
They was pretty much lost by 1
It wasn't.
goal.
It was. They came back for sure, but like to go down 5-2 at one point, like that's either way.
It was 3-0.
Yeah, they were down 3-0.
I'm
which
just saying,
great.
like the shit ain't great, and then 6 again. I'm just saying, like you want to keep it a little bit close if they're going to be at least making a little bit of run or do whatever, be decent. But I get it. They got a little tired or whatever it is. They got a little sore. I'm not spiraling out of control yet.
Dude, I think the thing is they don't have this.
Look who was in net though too.
Yeah, for the Colorado game. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to your boy. But my thing is, man, is we have known for some time, that the Flyers have been playing over their head.
Oh, big time.
They're playing well above expectations. Even in those games, they were out shooting Colorado. They were out shooting Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that those teams have is we're talking Colorado. They got McKinnon, right? They got Rantanen. They got Makar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay has even more star power. They got Braden Point.
Mm-hmm.
They got Stamkos. They got Kucherov, Vasilevsky, Hedman, that big bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Flyers, we're rolling in there with Sean Couturier and Travis Konechny, which very good hockey players, right?
Yeah, but
like
nothing that's going to make your head
future
turn.
Hall of Famers like Colorado and Tampa Bay have.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Flyers are always going to draw short in those matchups. It was just, can home ice, can your goalie stay on in your head? Can things like that happen that they will you to a win?
Yep.
First Colorado game, when we played them in Colorado, we got lucky and that happened. But more often than not, talent that's that superior is going to win. The Flyers do play Detroit, who's also playing pretty well. Like, doesn't get easier, but Detroit doesn't have this level of talent. They have, they have, what do you call it? Kane.
Shane Gostisbehere.
Yeah.
They have Kane yet?
Yeah, they do have Patrick Kane.
But yeah, they don't have 4.
Speaking of sex pests.
Yeah. Do we want to get into that? Yeah, I guess we can.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like Carter Hart may have played his last game as a Flyer. Maybe his last game ever. I don't know.
How's that make you feel?
Feel fucking great. Maybe call this shit. Hey, I will say, I'm the least knowledgeable Flyers
You've been waiting for this since the summer, dog.
I called this shit out from the very jump.
Now, like, Pat's just using this news to launder his bad hockey takes.
I'll take it,
he's
though.
Like not a good goalie, which like he's clearly a pretty good goalie, but maybe not.
He's 96 and 93 in his career as a Flyer. He ain't that great.
A lot of that's behind our
man. I ain't hearing none of this shit.
Butt ass defense last year.
Doesn't matter now. Doesn't matter to me, my man. Creepy ass motherfucker. I fucking could sense it on this man. That's why in the beginning I was like, we should trade him now while his capital's hot. You guys were like, why? I was like, there's a reason why. I couldn't say why, but now I know why it is.
Hey.
Dude's a creepy ass motherfucker. Called that shit. In my head.
I'm not here to make light of what he did because that's awful.
I'm not laughing at what he did. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that poor woman.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But Carter Hart, creep. I knew it. Played like a bitch.
Out of here.
Is a bitch. Anything like that, fucking to the gulag. Get him out of here.
Yeah,
fuck that shit.
I don't think we're gonna miss him super much when Erison plays, right? Because.
But who's the
yeah,
well,
the problem.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah, the drop off between Hart and
Cal Peterson.
Yeah, or the drop
Felix
off.
Sandstrom.
Yeah, the drop off from Hart to Erson is not really the problem. The problem is the drop off between Erson and Cal Peterson or whoever the hell else.
Yeah.
So to me, I think it really puts their playoff chances in jeopardy.
Yeah,
I think that is going to hurt. I don't know if they really want to ride Sam Erson playing like 80% of the games or anything like that.
Nah, it wouldn't make sense to do that.
And it's not worth it to them to do that, So the the dream of like a run kind of like the Canadians had a few years ago, that sort of thing, that might be over.
So I might not have to do 6 shots of 99 bananas.
Maybe not. Yeah, it might be bailed out by.
Didn't you say if they made the playoffs?
Yeah, but if they miss,
they're not going to miss the playoffs. They'll be all right. Hear me out now.
I was saying before all this happened that it was probably going to be like a coin flip if they made it or not. Now I'm thinking it's quarter flip.
Fuck if they make it. I don't give
I
a
do
shit.
kind of feel like this could be the start of a long losing streak. I hope I'm wrong, because I don't want to watch a team lose 10 games in a row.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
We'll
Owen
see.
Tippett, who had been one of your best goal producers, is on IR with an ankle injury till after the till after the bye week.
Yeah.
Which I think the All-Star breaks right after, so they'll probably just let him sit the whole time. Carter Hart, pushing aside what he did or what he allegedly did, had been a top 15 goalie in the league, you know what I'm saying? He was splitting time with Ersson. So between the two of them, you had pretty solid goalie play. Cal Peterson sucks, dude. Felix Sandstrom, he's been okay in relief, but I don't think he's an NHL goalie. Things could go haywire here pretty quick. We sent, Bobby Brink down. He was struggling. Tyson Forster hasn't had a goal in 20 games, you know what I'm saying?
I think he had one kind of recently, but
maybe it's 20 days. I forget.
yeah.
Well, 20 days and 20 games is a really big difference.
It's close, but Cam Atkinson he's woken up. He's been playing better.
Yeah.
But Sean Walker's probably getting traded, you know what I mean? Someone else might get traded.
Yeah,
the chemistry might fall apart
One
here.
of the defensemen definitely has to go soon because they've been playing 11 and 7
Sean Walker. I think Sean Walker's gone.
Yeah, he should be. They should definitely get something for him.
So I wouldn't be surprised if this is the beginning of them not making the playoffs. I still want them to make the playoffs, even if I have to do a lot of shots. But
yeah, definitely. Because it's funny. We were earlier, in the year, or we had kind of made a point of why are they drafting all these goalies? And they just
It's like they knew all along.
I think they kind of maybe had an idea that this was coming.
No one just springs up a sexual assault allegation out of nowhere. Some shit.
yeah, I mean, this happened in 2018.
But
so
still,
they had to know, this could come back and bite us.
Hello?
Yeah. And I guess it was
I'm gonna go on leave real quick. Uncontested
And then
from
his other boys go on leave.
Come on now.
Yesterday and today.
Yeah.
they're all 5,
And they're all saying I'm complying with the
yeah.
fucking government and this and that. Okay, but it doesn't mean you're scot-free. You're just saying what you have to say when
and
you're
we'll
in
see what
trouble for
happens.
some shit, man.
But
You creepy ass motherfucker, man. I knew that shit.
I mean, it's funny because a lot, even today, some people were like, "Well, it's not fair to speculate on exactly what to leave."
I thought that last night at first, but then I started reading into it. I was like, nah.
Yeah. I mean, speculating is one thing, but at this point, it's this is just putting 2 and 2 together and drawing a very obvious conclusion. I'm sorry. I mean, if we turn out to be wrong, then I'll deal with the egg on my face. But I mean, come on.
Whoa.
What else?
Especially because the Canadian government also paid an out-of-court. They already paid everybody, or whatever whoever brought the allegation was already paid for. Then out of court to keep it hush hush when that shit first hit the fan.
Yeah, there was
and
a
now
lot.
it's the UK that is now she's doing the court in the UK.
Because the one guy was in the UK.
Yeah, so now that's what brought it up.
Oh, is that what it is? I
Yes,
didn't realize.
it's
that.
Or maybe not the UK. He was in Europe.
No,
I don't know if it was
it
the
had-
UK.
Wait, are you?
No,
In
one
England.
player was in
Yeah, one
Europe.
of the players. But are you thinking it's the UK because it happened in London, Ontario?
Huh? Oh, it's in
No,
London,
one of the
Ontario?
players was
No.
over in Europe.
No,
though,
one
and
of
he
the
got
players
brought
was
back.
over
one of the
Yeah.
one of the players is over in Europe.
That, yeah,
But I
but
don't know
that,
if
Is
anything to do
that
with
what
the
you're
UK.
thinking of?
I don't know what I'm thinking of.
Because it happened in London, Ontario, but one of the
Ontario.
guys went and played hockey
'Cause
in
you-
Europe somewhere.
Again, every
You
time,
saw-
man, I'm 2
You
for
saw
2 this
that they.
week.
You saw that they were being recalled
London,
by
I
the
said,
London police. And were like,
interesting.
they
Yeah, I said-
they had to go.
Oh,
I said, hold
so
up
you
now.
were thinking
Scotland
London
Yard.
in the UK?
I said, hold
I'm
up now.
thinking
No,
the
it's
guy
London,
that
Ontario.
was over in Europe. That
There was
they,
one of the
Damn.
guys
that got extradited.
Because I was confused because it was 4 NHL players but I was like, wasn't there another guy? And then it was like, oh yeah, it's this other guy who's playing over in Europe. But
Damn, knock them all up, dog. Fuck this shit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're talking
Yeah.
semantics here. They all did something that is fucked up. That poor woman.
yeah, I mean it was interesting. I mean it's also kind of. Did you see how today the NHL were promoting this thing where the Utah Jazz owners want an expansion team? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's just interesting timing that they would put this story out right as all this is happening, and it's just man, the NHL is just bad with this stuff, dude.
They've always
Like that,
they always
like,
have been. They always will be.
I mean, the whole thing
It's
with
a bunch of awkward Canadians, dude. What do you expect?
Yeah, and I mean the whole thing with the Blackhawks scandal, how nothing happened to any of those fucking guys.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the NHL's
Fuck Gary
just bad
Bettman.
with press, dude.
Yeah, they're just not good at handling this kind of stuff, and hopefully this time will be different. We'll see. But
How long Gary Bettman's been commissioner for? I would
Too
look it
long.
up, but my phone's acting up.
too long. Yeah, I don't know. A bit long time, but
He's got to go, dude. They need to bring in what do you call it? The Adam Silver of the. It's like he ain't much better. None of these sports commissioners are any good, dude.
Adam Silver's
They
probably
should
one of the
elect
better
us.
ones
So
of
good.
the other ones.
They
so,
should
yeah.
elect us. Trevor can do the NHL. You can do the NFL. I'll do the NBA. We'll get Dean to do MLB.
Hell yeah! All right, say no more.
There we go, dude.
yeah.
I'd be a great
We got it.
commissioner.
Hell, I think it'd be a really good commissioner
Dude, we'd be
group
letting,
right here.
we'd be
not
letting
gonna
people
lie.
get drunk and high before the games, after the games, during the games. We'd be letting people, you know what I'm
Throw
saying,
snowballs.
never have to talk to the media.
Nope.
Never have
I think
to.
that shit's so stupid.
Dude, some players, they hate talking to the media.
I think it's a point. You get them after a 60-minute whatever. They're playing for their job, right? And then you want to grill them for another 30 minutes after that shit.
Yeah,
It does,
Come on,
it does
man.
result in some pretty funny moments sometimes.
It does,
so
but
I'll
that
take
also
that,
has to be annoying as fuck. Like we enjoy it because we could just watch that, but like that can't be fucking fun.
Yeah, I would hate it. Like the closest comparison I have is anytime I ever played a big show, and someone would come up to me right after that and be like, "Yeah, so what was that like? How'd you feel?" It's like, what do you mean? What that was like? It was
Right.
fun. I had a good time. How'd it feel? It felt great. I'm exhausted. I'm sweaty. I need a shower and a beer. What do you want me to say?
Every other day,
yeah, and
every-
like
or
I had to
every
deal with
day.
that once every 5-6 months.
right? Mm-mm. I don't even want to cook dinner sometimes after work, let alone talk to somebody
Yeah.
every day. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But hopefully they get all their creepy asses. Fuck that shit. London,
Yeah. I
shout
would
out,
say-
my bad. I fucked up.
As far as in terms of the broader Flyers goalie situation, I am pretty excited about Alexei Kolosov. He's their guy. He's in the KHL. He's playing for Dynamo Minsk, and they're like a really bad team. And but he's been really good. I was watching like some of his highlight reels today. Super like athletic guy, makes these like, sort of kind of like highlight reel like that acrobatic type of saves. I think if he came over, I think he'd become a real like fan favorite. He seems like that type of dude. And he's not under like one of these, it's not like Mishkov where he's like under contract there for a while. Like he has an entry level contract with the Flyers right now. They just loaned him back out there for this year so he could get consistent playing time. But conceivably, I think their season ends like early March, and the team he's on is not going to make the playoffs. So like he could potentially come over here and play towards the end of the season if they felt like it.
I guess it depends on if they're in a play, or the Flyers are still in the playoff race or not. If they are, I don't think it happens.
Yeah, if it's like kind of if they're sort of dropping out of it. But I would really like to see him.
We'll see. I don't think I have anything else on the Flyers.
Yeah, I think that just about does it.
So yeah, I guess we can move on to the Sixers. We can end on a high note.
Yeah,
So
70-point note.
A career high note.
yeah, 70 points in 36 minutes, 37 minutes. Bonkers, dude. That's almost
Nuts.
Unreal.
2 points a minute.
Unreal.
Yeah, absolutely crazy, dude. I'm so pissed because I was.
Yeah, you were
Considering going to
saying
that
buying
game.
tickets.
It was
I had just gotten back from MacFest. I was like, I'm
'Cause,
way too
yeah.
tired to go to a Sixers game.
Yeah, because I was thinking, oh, it's the Spurs. I could maybe go see Wembanyama. Let me see what these tickets cost. And on StubHub, and some of them were like $19. I was like, shit,
I had
maybe
looked it
should
up
go.
like a few days prior, and
But then I kind of held off on it, and I checked later, and they're up to like 30. I was like, yeah. Ugh,
Nah, I
God
can't
damn.
do it today.
yeah. In hindsight, I regret not going to that game, even if I was dead tired.
You can't predict that
But,
shit,
yeah,
but
you
hey,
never
man,
know.
hey, whew, what a performance by Embiid. Wow, unreal,
Yeah, it's wild.
unreal.
I mean, like saying that watching Embiid is appointment viewing is kind of an understatement at this point.
Oh.
I mean, I'm just like, I need to watch this. Like, if the Sixers are on, I need to watch this game.
Yeah.
Like, I need to take every opportunity I can to watch this guy while I can.
Yeah, so his game against Utah last year where he put up like 59, 15, 8 assists and 7 blocks. I'm thinking, yeah, I will never see a performance like this again. I mean, that game against Utah was fantastic. In some ways, it was probably better than this game, at least defensively as far as all-around game goes. But this game, man, it was just ridiculous. Just watching... He should have had like 8 or 9 assists, right? Like he was making really crisp passes, really nice passes, and dudes were
he
just
had some
missing
really good feeds in this game.
layups, jumpers. But yeah, he almost had a 70-20 game. Dude had 70 points, 18 rebounds, and 5 assists in 36 minutes. And realistically, they probably would have won that game if they didn't bring him back. Right? Like, they brought him back with 6:38 left.
Yeah,
they
'cause
were
it
up
got
double
close.
digits.
It was, like, close enough,
It got close because once he was, like, close to, like, breaking Wilt's record, they started feeding him a little too much.
Yeah.
And then
it wasn't like when they were trying to keep that 30 and 10 record going.
That's the point I was going to
It
make,
wasn't,
right?
It wasn't like that.
That's
it was
the point
like
I was gonna
it
make.
was reasonable to bring him back in because it was within, like, 12 points or something.
they got that to, like, 8 at one point. It was, like, pretty close for a minute, to be honest with you. I was like, oh, they might fucking,
there's a moment there where you were kind of distracted by the fact that he's going for all these points, and you're like, holy shit, wait, what's the score right now? Like,
unlike the fucking Timberwolves, we actually reeled back in and, like, did that shit.
Yeah, so I'll get to the Timberwolves, right? But the 30-10 streak, I mean, to bring him in to extend that when you're down 20-some points, dishonorable. I think we got what we deserved in the sense that, he was injured for the next week after that.
Yeah.
Next 7 or 8 games he missed after that. But in this game, I think it was completely justifiable, one, because it was still a close game, right? Like, I remember watching that game at the end of the third quarter, we were up like 14. He had 59 points, and I'm thinking, they may not bring him back, right? Yeah. They may just call it a game. But then I'm thinking, I kind of hope San Antonio keeps it close so that way he can come back and he has a chance to score whatever. I didn't know he was going to score 70. I said 70 was in play. But when they bring him back in, I did think it was funny that they just kept feeding him the ball, and it got kind of obvious in San Antonio that that's what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
They forced a couple missed shots and a couple turnovers, but ultimately just his talent went out in the end, man.
I loved when people were booing Daniel House.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Shots.
Yeah.
When Daniel House took the open corner 3.
Yeah.
That was hilarious, dude. But I also loved how as soon as you heard that Embiid got off the bench, the camera wasn't even on him. You could hear the crowd screaming.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, yeah, the crowd knows what's up, man. See, that's our crowd, man. That's Philly. We know what's up. We know when someone's on the verge of setting, like, some historic shit.
And that's the thing, like, after the game, too, he was like, wait, Wilt never did that? And it was like, yeah, he might have broke the record, but he was like, he never hit a 70-15-5 game. Like, that was... And we talk about, like, oh, he's missed games here and there, like, won't be the MVP, this and that, but, like, my man is doing shit.
He might still be, though.
Honestly, if he keeps playing like this, even if he misses 2 or 3 more games down the stretch or 5, whatever it is, he's playing out of his fucking mind. Can't miss basketball. Yeah. It's unreal.
I was thinking about how I hope this hasn't happened, but it would be extremely funny if Embiid has this just all-time historic season, putting up the most efficient scoring numbers of all time, is doing all this insane shit, one of the best seasons for a center ever, and he doesn't get the MVP because of this stupid rule that they just implemented this year.
Right.
How embarrassing that would be for the NBA.
Dude, Tyrese Halliburton's probably going to miss out on first-team All-NBA, which is going to cost him a pretty chunk of change.
That's
because
unreal.
He's not going to play enough games. It's asinine, dude.
And that's because of the shit, though, that, like, Kawhi and, like, from healthy players not playing. It's like, Embiid has been hurt here and there, but, like, when he does play, he's been playing fucking ridiculous.
When he's healthy, right.
But he plays ridiculous basketball. He's been doing it. It's unreal. As a center, to put up 70 fucking points in this day and age in the NBA.
Dude, he put up 70 points on 24 of 41 shooting from the field and, like, 21 of 23 from the line.
I also thought it was just amazing to watch him, like, just shut the, like, Wembanyama for sure is a freaking nature.
Wemby put up 33.
Yeah, he did. But like,
when he had that Inspector Gadget ass layup where Embiid was on it, and he just unrolls his long hand and just finger rolls it in.
Dude.
That was bonkers, dude.
That made no sense.
He's wild, dude.
But that
Wemby's a baller, dude.
Yeah, but that pass though too that Embiid had too, where he said
behind the back.
Come on,
that
now,
shit was
like,
nice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Embiid, his passing was on point. And there were times in that game where he could have just been like, all right, I'm close to 70, I'm just gunning. But he was passing, being a good teammate.
Yeah.
Nah, that was amazing.
Embiid is a freak of nature.
Towards the end of that game, man, I was torn between crying and laughing, dude. Like, every bucket, I was like, damn, I don't know if I should cry or I don't know if I should laugh. And then, at the end of the game, when the game was over, when they showed Embiid, Brett Brown, Burke, and Rocco, I started crying.
Yeah,
dude.
that shit was cute.
I was so emotional. I was like high-key emotional for like a half hour after that game, man.
When you were saying, you were like, damn, I teared up a little bit. I said, I mean, it makes sense.
I straight up cried. Because here's the thing, right? Trevor and I were there for his first game ever.
Yeah.
Ever. We were there when he won the MVP. I never would have thought I would see this shit where he's putting up 70, 18, and 5. And then he's just talking with Brett Brown, the guy that brought him into the league.
Yep.
Man, I got so emotional, man. I don't remember the last regular season like Philadelphia team game I cried. I do. It was when the Phillies. No, I do now that I meant.
I don't remember that shit. No, I do.
It was when the Phillies clinched the NL East in 2007.
Okay, yeah.
That's the last time I cried over a regular season Philly sports team game. I cried, dude. I was bawling. I was just like curled up on my couch holding the pillow, just tears coming down my eyes for like a good 3 minutes, dude. I was so goddamn emotional.
It was a happy day. It was just nuts watching him like just go up. They had like, because when he had like 60 points, it was like, damn, he's so close to like tying AI's record. Then he got to 63. Then 65, and they just kept going up and up and up. You're like, there's still like fucking 15, 20 minutes in this game. Like, they don't bench him. He might do this shit. That was nuts. It was incredible to see. And he was hitting everything. Yeah. Passing it out, getting rebounds still, playing fine, looking effortless.
Playing good D.
Oh, man. I mean, Embiid is, and we talk about it every week where, like, it's can't miss basketball, but he's on another level that, I don't know. I mean, it's just, you can't put, no words can describe his level of play right now this year.
Dude, he's one of 4 players in modern NBA history, this is within the last 40 years, to average 36 plus points per game. The others are obviously MJ and Kobe, and then Harden had that 1 year he averaged like 38. But Embiid has been the most efficient. Like, I can't look it up on my phone for the stats, but Embiid, his minutes per game are the lowest of any of those 4. And like, if we want to get into the nerd stats, his true shooting percentage and effective field goal percentage are also the highest of any of those guys. Yeah. So it's just like, dude,
and
he's averaging.
And he's also the team's best defender.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You can't say for all those guys, certainly.
Yeah, he's averaging 38 points in 36 minutes. He's averaging over a point per game, which no one's ever done that. Or Wilt did it, but Wilt was playing like 48 minutes per game.
Right, and like the Wilt stats are a little inflated too, just because of the
Wilt's
era
playing
that he
against
played
guys
in.
like us.
Right, and like especially when he was a Sixer too, like it's, it is what it is. But Embiid's just doing some shit, and he would have the records he would have still broke even if he didn't play the fourth quarter again. That last game would have still.
He would have had 59 after 3, which is bonkers.
Even fucking, you see KD, he's like 70. Like,
yeah, KD was like, shit.
Yeah. I mean, on the day that Kobe put up 81.
Which is awesome.
Oh, man. On the day that Kobe put up 81, you got Embiid doing, everybody else doing, Cat doing 60 plus.
Well, hold on. We got to talk about this Cat shit.
Oh, man. I love it.
Oh, it was so funny.
I love it. Oh, man.
He was at 44 at halftime. He ended up with 62 and an L.
Dude, did you hear about
his fourth quarter stats were ass. You saw that shit?
He got benched.
Yeah.
Did you hear about apparently some of their players were on the bench asking, like, while our game was going on, asking where Embiid was, and they were trying to, match and surpass him or whatever. They were just
at halftime, I think Embiid was at like
absorbed with that.
Embiid was almost at
Embiid
50
was at
already.
34 at halftime.
And yeah, and then at halftime they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna keep watching this game to like feed Cat," and then Cat just fucking shit to bed,
Yeah, that was hilarious.
and they
man.
lost the game.
They lost the game at home to the Hornets.
Yeah, it's not like they lost to the Celtics. They lost to
Right.
the Hornets.
Oh man.
Yeah, the Hornets announcer when Cat made that 1-3,
Oh, yeah.
he starts freaking out. Yeah, apparently the Hornets announcers are pretty
Oh,
lit.
yeah,
I've
he's-
never watched one of those games.
Oh yeah, if you ever see like some highlights from the Hornets game, that guy, I don't know what his name is, but that guy's always like freaking. He's like really fun to listen to.
Word.
Damn.
But yeah, that Cat shit was funny. What was the other? I guess we can talk about other NBA news, right? We can,
Oh yes, the NBA news.
yeah. So, do we want to start with Scary Terry or Doc? Let's start with
Oh,
Doc.
I thought we were talking
gotta
about that.
start with
Yeah,
Doc.
I didn't even think about
we gotta
Scary
start with
Terry. I
Doc,
thought we
dude.
were. Yeah.
I'm a Scary Terry guy, but we got to talk about Doc, dude.
Well, it makes us look. I mean, I love that for them. I love that it's a great move for Milwaukee. I think that they have a very good chance of probably getting bounced out of the
Probably
first,
the best
second
move
round.
they could
Yeah.
have made. This is, that's a world-class organization.
Yep.
They've won championships. They have a 2-time MVP player. They obviously know what they're doing.
I think that's a good,
So-
come on, guys, here we go. I think that's a great,
Come on,
great,
guys.
great move. I think, well, it's funny that even like Shaq was like, yeah, I think that Doc's been holding on to this one ring he won years ago. I think it's a good chance for him to go win a second ring. I'm like, I don't know. I see this as like the downfall of the Bucks right here. I don't see how the guy that manipulated his way into the organization via the play,
He was
the
like a
fucking
secret
tournament
advisor while he's
Yeah.
working for ESPN.
And that's when
What
like
the fuck?
the fact that
It
this
was like it'd be like if Skip Bayless was secretly calling the plays for the
For the-
Cowboys.
you see Dan Quinn's out and like Skip Bayless up at the booth. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
During the midseason tournament
When
when
Skip Bayless on the sideline with the headset on.
it is fucking throwing his jersey in the trash can. You got Doc
Yeah.
Rivers now feeding shit in the locker room during the midseason tournament when Giannis was like, yeah, the locker room just is kind of getting a little weird. I don't know if we trust the coach. He started calling out the head coach during that shit. And lo and behold, it's Doc Rivers just planting the seed of doing whatever he does, doing some weird shit. And now the Bucks got Doc, which I don't. I mean,
I
I
also
don't-
loved how the first outlet. I don't know. Some people were saying maybe this was like fake, that apparently the first outlet to announce that Doc had signed a contract with the Bucks was CNN.
yeah, no, it was,
it was
Lefko, wasn't it? He was like live on air. It was like CNN.
Yeah,
And they were like
CNN
CNN. He was like, yeah,
Sports.
CNN Sports. So like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. Like, it almost seems like Doc must have a friend that works at CNN
It
and
made no
just
sense.
texted them
Someone was
first.
like, yeah, the New Hampshire primary just closed.
Just like
Also, Doc
Woj.
Rivers is the coach for the Bucks.
I just
It
love
made-
like
it made no
I just love like
sense.
imagining like Woj and Shams just just in a fetal position, just crying because they got scooped by fucking CNN.
on a big
I just
drop.
imagine like Wolf Blitzer on the
Yeah.
on the live being like,
We have Doc Rivers on
we
there
have
right now."
breaking news that Doc Rivers he doesn't even know who he is. He doesn't know who the fucking Doc Rivers is new coach of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that
And now back to the New Hampshire primary.
I don't really understand it. I mean, it's weird.
very funny.
It's weird. I love it from a Sixers standpoint, but I think that it's weird. If I'm a Milwaukee fan, I don't know if I would understand this move. You know, you're 30-13, whatever they were at the time. Great record for the first 40-some games of the season. You got number 1 3-point percentage, number 1 points per game. I don't.
Well,
You make a coaching change like that. I think it's a little odd. I think it's a little weird.
From the Sixers' perspective, what I'm thinking is this pretty much sets up a scenario where if we finally break through and get past the second round of the playoffs by beating Doc Rivers,
Oh my
it'll
god!
be like achieving Nirvana.
I will.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and if we get knocked out of the second round by Doc Rivers, I will commit seppuku in the Wells Fargo parking lot.
Hell yeah!
well, I
I
mean,
can't imagine anything worse.
If we beat Doc Rivers in the second round, I will go streaking up Broad Street. Mark my words.
I think we're going to. Like, to be quite honest with you, this does two things for the Bucks as far as this season goes. They'll probably hover around where they are during the regular season. Doc's a fairly decent regular season coach.
Yeah, I could see them getting a little boost here and being falsely confident that this is going to work.
But here's the deal, right? Any other time Doc's taken over, he's had training camp, preseason to implement his shit. He never had to do it in the middle of the season. Right? So that's going to be an issue for them. The other thing is they play the hardest schedule in the league for the rest of the year. So I could very easily see a scenario where they drop to 3 or 4. In which case we won't get to play them.
Right.
I would love to play them. And just given, my other point, is given Doc's shortcomings in the playoffs, I think they would be an easy second round defeat. We know that Doc, you know what I'm saying, he's a great regular season coach. His plan A usually works in the playoffs, but we saw it 3 years when he was here. His plan B always is ass.
Never works.
Whereas Nick Nurse, man, he's a tinkerer. He's going to come up with plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know what I'm saying? He'll go through the whole alphabet. So if we were to play them in the playoffs, I think that we would be at a clear advantage. I think I said this last week, Nick Nurse is the best coach in the Eastern Conference. I still stand by that, and Doc Rivers doesn't make that any harder of a decision to stand by, you know what I'm saying? So I welcome it. I think it's going to be funny. I look forward to being able to watch an NBA game on ESPN and not having to hear, Giannis, Joel. I look forward to not hearing that. Look forward to not having to hear that raspy ass voice. And I don't think it raises the Bucks ceiling that much.
Yeah, this is Doc Rivers.
What
we're gonna do is we're gonna start playing Robin Lopez 40 minutes a game. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a television show called The Simpsons, but there's a character in that called Sideshow Bob, and he's my favorite character. He's very funny, and this guy looks a lot like him, and I want to have him out there. We're gonna run the offense through Robin Lopez.
Yeah, I think
Drew Holiday. My problem with Drew is sometimes I think it's Drew with a D, but it's actually with a J, and it confuses me. And so I can't be calling his name. And,
yeah, I don't know, man. I think this is a pretty...
Oh, I think it sets us up well for the 2 seed. I mean, we've been playing great. They have the hardest schedule in the league. I think we've played a lot of our tough games already. We still have some tough games left yet, including the one on Saturday. But, yeah, I think the Sixers are in a good position here. What I will say, though, is this shit with the Bucks kind of reminds me of the Eagles. Like,
they're
mid-season,
very much like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Bucks
Damn, dude.
come in with what should be like an NBA conference finals favorite.
Yeah.
They come in with a new acquisition, what's expected to be a highly vaunted offense. Offense is so-so. Defense is old
terrible.
and ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They fire their coach mid-season, and they bring in some retread dumbass, dude. I hope it ends like the Eagles season does for the Sixers' sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it panning out in the way that they, in the Milwaukee clubhouse, thinks that it's going to pan out. I don't see how it works out at all.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they were doing. I mean, their first mistake was hiring this guy, Adrian Griffin, to begin with, when you saw right away when the one assistant...
Where did he come from?
He was Nick Nurse's assistant in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
So, he was Nick Nurse's assistant in Toronto, but Giannis was like, yeah, I don't want Nick Nurse. I want this guy. So this guy was handpicked by Giannis.
Oh, wow.
And then Terry Stotts, who was Dame Lillard's assistant, he was Dame's head coach in Portland, is on their staff. And right before the season starts, Terry Stotts is like, nah, man, I'm out. I ain't dealing with this. That should have been their first sign, yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
And then you have Giannis game after game screaming about the defense and the coach. Then you have Doc undermining everything like he does like a snake.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee done fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Well, their
good for
defense
us.
about to get, like you were saying before, what's Doc going to do to that defense? Nothing. You kidding me?
Yeah.
It's only going to get worse.
And their offense is going to become boring and stagnant.
Yep.
We saw that. They'll run a lot more
Yeah.
Damian Giannis pick and roll, but there won't be anything
They better
else.
hope they stay healthy. If they get one big injury to a key player, they're definitely
Oh, they're
fucked.
gonna be
They're
ass,
done.
dude.
They're totally done. So good move by them, though. Good for you, Doc. Appreciate that.
Yeah, failing up.
Yeah.
We got
We
anything
got
else,
anything
yo?
else? Yeah, we're
I mean, Sixers play the Nuggets on Saturday.
good. Yeah,
In
nice
the old,
rematch.
what is it called?
The
What?
Ball Arena.
Yeah.
So the
yeah.
last time the Sixers played the Nuggets on on NFL championship weekend was when Embiid dropped 47 and 18 on Jokic at home.
Yeah.
Now we're a little bit above sea level, though, here now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I think we're about to do it again, dude. We're
In
about to
Denver.
do it again.
We'll see.
That game, I did like 9 shots.
Damn.
I was just so excited. Every time like the Sixers did good, I was doing another shot. I went to Buck City that night. But anyway, yeah, that should be a fun game. Maybe we'll catch it on Saturday. What y'all doing Saturday?
Nothing.
Plans.
Nothing for the
Maybe we
game.
can catch
Yeah,
it
I'll be
on
home.
Saturday.
Oh yeah, I'm
Just
down.
throwing it out there.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Just a Saturday. Yeah.
Throwing it out there for the pod too. If y'all are listening to this before Saturday and you want to hang out, hit your boys.
You know where to find us. Well, that will just about do it for us here tonight, everybody. Please give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Follow on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace.
See ya.